Good evening all. I'll say evening because that's what they tell us it is at 6 on what they tell us is the 19th day of the 6th month in the year 2024. They mark that year because they say it's 2024 years since the birth of this fella called Christ. I will remind you, and you can look this up for yourself, that in the Masonic calendar, the year is 6024. They mark that as when their God, their Saviour, came into this reality. Wasn't born into it. When I say underneath my broadcast, send love and light to the Temple of Seti, 6,024 years ago, this is my awareness. I can't prove it to you, but it's my awareness based upon 40 years of my journey. 40 years on the 17th of next month when my journey started. 17th of July 1984, when my grandfather, maternal grandfather, passed away. That's when my journey started, actively, knowingly, consciously even. Although the conscious part has only come in the last 20 odd years, 25 years, maybe, something like that. But this is all about my awareness. I'm sharing with you today, in this broadcast, this upload, the product of my 40-year journey. And as I see it today, which is not as I see it 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. It's as I'm aware of it today. And I'm going to give you the product of that 40-year journey here. And some of you won't like it. That's down to you and your ego. I care not who I offend when I speak the truth at my point of knowing and awareness. What I care about is those that will be deceived if I don't speak it. So bear that in mind. I'm not attacking you personally, whoever you are listening. I'm attacking bringing my light into the darkness of all that you believe and hold dear and true. That's what I'm attacking. And if you take it personally, then that's your ego. That's your ignorance. That's not mine. I'm sharing my knowledge and my awareness because I've walked through the shadow of the valley of death. And I've learnt what it is to die in order that I may live. And I seek to share that with you here on my channel. And the messages I bring. Not to court favour with any of you. But I want the message that I bring to court favour with you. It's going to challenge so much of what you believe in. As everything is designed to do on this my channel. All the messages I bring is meant to challenge you. And if it does, and you can temper your ego and listen, know that everything that I do and say here is to empower, enlighten and enable you in the way that those that I've met on this 40-year journey have done so to empower, enlighten and enable me to bring you this. Well, I bring you here on my BitChute channel. And if you're not watching on BitChute, there's a link to it in the description box underneath where all my work is. I don't want your favour. I don't want your plaudits or whatever. And if you attack me, it's water off a duck's back. I don't want your money. Never done what I've done in this field, in this way, for money. And yet so many have. And I'm attacking what they believe in. That's what I'm attacking. On the left there, it says humans aren't real. And they're not. Humans are not real. They are, as Billy Carson put it, a genetic modification of what was here originally. Whether that was real or not, I can't be sure. Can't be definitive. What I can be definitive about, in my awareness, is that mankind is what is supposed to be here. And humans have been genetically modified, corrupted and bastardized from mankind in order to serve an agenda. Just as the same as your spiritual self is corrupted and bastardized from your conscious self to serve an agenda. And it's not to serve you, it's to enslave you. Both of those points. Being human is to be a slave. Being all love and light and spiritual is no fucking better. Absolutely no fucking better at all. And I base that on my 40-year journey. You might not agree. But then you haven't walked in my shoes and I haven't walked in yours. I'm sharing the journey I've made in my shoes with you in order to empower, enlighten and enable you. And things may get a bit heated. But remember, I'm not attacking you, the listener. I'm attacking what you believe in, what you accept as truth. This, that and the other. That's what I'm attacking. I'm bringing my light and my codes, my awareness, the Lucifer within that I am, out to shine a light on the darkness that is outside of me. Because the universe knows how these last 40 years especially, if not all 63 of my years here in this incarnation, I have been knowingly or unknowingly seeking to shine a light on my own darkness and my own shadows and know that which I truly am. And I'm still on that journey. Still on that journey. And I'll never stop that journey, whether I'm incarnate or not. I'm aware of that. The journey never ends because there is no destination. There is only the journey. Again, there won't be any music in this because I'm probably going to post it on YouTube again, because what I've neglected to tell you in the last few broadcasts is it appears I'm unable to upload to Rumble for some reason or another. Had no notification from them telling me anything, but there you go. So I have 2 BitChute channels. The main one is underneath in the description box if you're not listening there. I have a Brighteon channel, Odyssey channel, and a rarely used YouTube channel, which I'm now posting to because I can't go onto Rumble. So again, if you're just coming to me, go to my main BitChute channel and do what people like Daryl and Shelley and others have done. Looked through the whole library of my uploads. And they started from the beginning. 4 years ago, I think it was. Started from the beginning and worked forward. And so they became aware of my own particular journey and awareness and whatever, and how it grows exponentially every waking moment. Humans are not real. Humans compete with each other. That's what they do. They're designed to compete with each other, to hate each other. Different skin colour, different gender, etc., etc. Different religion, different sporting affiliation, different political persuasion. That's all part of the matrix that keeps humans enslaved. Well, it doesn't, actually. It keeps mankind enslaved. That's what it does, under the pretense of humanity and whatever. And all that humans, we're told, represents. I listened to Max Eigen's latest this morning. Good to see him back again. And I sent him a message after the first 4 minutes and 21 seconds, where a woman was speaking. And this is what I said to him. That first 4 minutes of your latest upload, 4 minutes and 21 seconds. How deep do you want to go? I have this meme, and it's a grey alien with the words, humans aren't real. And they're not. Humans are made up beings, genetic modifications of the genus mankind. At the very, very least. Humans compete with each other. Mankind connects with each other. Of all the things I've witnessed in the unseen, beyond the five senses, one thing stands out amongst all other things, is that the true self, the light being, has no gender. And what they're trying to do here in this physical reality is replicate that and control that, as they've controlled everything else over eons of time. What Castaneda called the predator mind is the masculine that puts the fuck into the feminine, the spirit that overrides the conscious state of being, the true self, the Lucifer within, the light and the way that is a singular cause of creation as we know it, that has been corrupted, bastardized, and whatever, and it will be continued to do so until we wake up to the very least in the physical, we are man and not humans, and we transcend the spiritual aspect of self, which is a corruption of the true self, the conscious self. And all the while we're playing their game, dancing to their tune, we never do it. I can see it. And I've been talking about it on my channel for quite some time. And when you, we, us all look at it like that, we have a hope, a chance of beating those that enslave us. It's good to see you back, Max, and I wish you well. I wish you abundance. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and on a conscious level, I wish you abundance. And I wish the same for all of you, everyone else, my fellow man. I wish the same for all of you. You see, if you listen to what I said there, I said that the true self has no gender, and I can't get that bloody word out. You know what I mean? Has no gender. We, on that level, through our ignorance, through our fear, through our compliance, create this reality that we experience as a man, as a woman, as black, white, yellow, red, gay, straight, whatever. And they use it against us. to control us. And if we're all walking about in shadows and we're blinded by the light, and the light that blinds us most is our own light, because we're in fear of it, because they told us Lucifer is the devil. It's not. Never has been. That fella called Jesus said, I am the light, I am the way. And that's basically what Lucifer means. And he said, as I do, you can do also, and far greater things. Have a listen to this fella. Hold on, I've got to find it. Talking about the devil. I posted it in my group on Facebook, the Self Preservation Society. And if you want to join it, just send me an email. My email's below, and I'll send you a link. Here you go, listen.
That you've got a clear picture in your mind of what we're...
Start that again.
Now let me just tell you a bit about the devil first, so that you've got a clear picture in your mind of what we're praying against. First of all, the Bible does not paint him as a horned creature with a forked tail. That's the sort of thing that makes us laugh at him, take him less than seriously. See, the Bible says he's a real person. The Bible never calls the devil it, always he. Next, the Bible says that he has a heart and a mind and a will, and if a heart and a mind and a will don't make a personality, I don't know what does. It talks about the devil's feelings, talks about his thoughts, and it talks about his motives. And that means to me a person. So the devil is not just a kind of vague word to sum up all the forces of evil in the world. No, he is a person in his own right. And if there were no human beings at all, Satan would still exist. Now, Jesus himself took Satan desperately seriously. He never made a joke about him. He never laughed at him. He never caricatured him. Here are some of the titles that Jesus gave Satan. He said he is the prince of this world. When Satan offered Jesus all the kingdoms of the world, Jesus did not say they are not yours to give, because he knew perfectly well they were Satan's to give. And it is a horrible thought, if you really realize it, that the world in which we live is ruled over by Satan. He is the prince of this world. But let's take it a step further. Do you know that another title Jesus gave to Satan? He said he's not only the ruler or prince of this world, he is the God of this world. The only other person beside his heavenly Father to whom Jesus ever applied the word God was Satan. He said, my heavenly Father is God of everything, but of this world, Satan is God, which means very simply not only that Satan controls this world and is able to manipulate science and education and politics for his own ends. More than that, Satan is actually the real God whom most people on earth worship, whether they know it or not. That behind so much religion, behind so much activity, Satan is the one who's being worshipped. He's the person. And even by some who go to church and chapel on Sunday, in reality, he's their God. For they worship the things that he offers them. They want the things of the world that he belongs to and rules over, rather than setting their mind on the things that are above where Jesus is. And if you want this world, and if you want the things of this world, then I give you a piece of advice. Make Satan your God. If you want this world, he's a wonderful God to have, because he'll give it to you. There's always a price to pay. When the bill comes in, you may not be quite so happy, but he'll give it to you. He can give you money, he can give you fame, he can give you anything you want, because it's his to give. Where have you been, Satan, says God in the book of Job? Well, I've been patrolling the earth, I've been looking around my estate. And he had. Now let's get this clear. That doesn't mean that God is helpless in this world. It does mean, and we've got to think this through, that God is allowing Satan to be prince of this world and God of this world. He's allowed it. And people say, what does God think he's doing allowing that? Well, I would just say my only answer to that one is, what's he doing allowing you to be like you are? Why should you blame him for allowing Satan to rebel when he allowed you to? The answer is very simple. He's a father, and he will not force any of his creatures to go his way. And he gives you freedom to rebel. And we can't grumble about him giving the angels freedom, though they have superior intelligence and strength, because he gave us the same freedom and we've used it in the wrong way. Do you know there are 2 books in the Bible that the devil hates more than any other 2 books in the Bible? Out of all 66, there are 2 that say more about him than any others, and it's these that he has attacked more than any others. They are the one at the beginning and the one at the end, Genesis and Revelation. And you know why he hates them? Because Genesis describes his devices and Revelation describes his doom. And he hates those 2 books. And there has been more scholarly attack on the book of Genesis than any other book, and more attempt to turn it into myth and legend and away from fact than any other book in the Bible. Why? Because Satan doesn't want you to believe that Genesis 3 ever happened. He doesn't want you to know how he got hold of Eve. He doesn't want you to believe that he said what he did to that first married couple. And he attacks the book of Genesis. But the other book which he hates more than any other is the book of Revelation. Because as you read through that book, you come to a point where it says that the devil himself will be cast into the lake of fire. Do you know that Jesus told us to pray every day about the devil? Do you know that? The original prayer that he taught his disciples when they said, Lord, teach us to pray. He said, pray like this. Say, Dad in heaven. Then pray for the things he wants. His name, his will, his kingdom. Then he said, pray for the things you need. You need food, you need forgiveness. Then he said, finish by praying this. Deliver us from the evil one. We've turned evil into a thing in our thinking. It's not a thing, it's a person. There's no evil anywhere in the universe apart from persons. Evil is an intensely personal thing. There's no love in the universe apart from persons who love. And so evil is personal. And Jesus said, pray daily, deliver us from the evil one. Start your prayer by thinking of your dad in heaven, but end your prayer by thinking of the devil on earth, and go out to face him.
Now, there's a lot to think about in what that bloke says, and I don't agree with it all. Where, you know, like in the book of Genesis, and it says, God said, let man be made in my image. I wasn't made in any God's image. I was made in light, that which I am. In the beginning was the word, sound, energy, frequency and vibration. And the word said, let there be light, energy, frequency and vibration. And that's what I am, what I truly am. And I've been working for 40 years, consciously, unconsciously, knowingly, unknowingly, to rid myself of the shadows and the darkness that seek to subdue that light. What I am here in this physical is an expression of light that is manipulated and controlled by what Castaneda called the predator mind, the masculine, the spirit. However you wish to perceive or see it, it is that which come from outside the beginning of creation of this universe to harvest the energy, frequency and vibration of this universe, this singular universe, this singular I am, of which you, me, are just microcosms of the macrocosm of the whole. That's it. That's it. When we wake up to it and we are not blinded by our own light, we will never be blinded by any light, because we are light. But we have to step out of the shadows to see it, the shadows of the self, the shadows that are outside the self, that keep us in fear, ignorance and darkness, keep us as human beings competing against human beings because we don't know what it is to be man, womb man, mankind. That's what we should be in this physical expression, mankind. We create everything that we experience because you might be a male or you might be a female. But in this false dualistic concept that is known as the matrix, the two aspects of self fight against each other. Never mind outside of the self. The Lakota say, help me to fight my greatest enemy, myself. That's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing, consciously, unconsciously, knowingly, unknowingly, for at least 40 years, if not 63 years. Seeking to fight my greatest enemy, which is myself. It's not outside of me. We're told the enemy is outside. They're Jews, they're Palestinians, you know, they're black, they're red, they're yellow. They're Protestants, they're Catholics. They're Republicans, they're Democrats, they're Labour, they're Conservative. They're Communists. They're Nazis. Anything to get us to focus outside of ourselves instead of focusing within ourselves. It would be improper of me to say that I haven't been blinded by my own light. I say to you in all humility that I have. I have. In times gone past. And perhaps I will be in the future. I don't know. But I know this. I do not fear that which I am. I do not fear my light. I do not fear becoming consciously aware and awake. I don't always understand it, but I don't fear it. And I go with it. Because as I do what this incarnation has taught me, the knowing and awareness will come. Sometimes I think, with all humility, not with arrogance, not with ego, but with all humility, when I look back at my 40-year journey that started with Christine Cuenca, the first medium I ever see, nobody has ever been better than her. Some have matched her. And then when I look from that starting point in September, a Sunday night in September in 1984, when my auntie took me to see her one Sunday night at the King Lear when the pub had shut, I had no idea what a medium was. This ain't, you know. I didn't know it at the time, but what she'd done for me there, A, was set me on a journey, but B, proved to me that life did not end at the physical ending. Life is continuous. Doesn't end. Doesn't end. It has no beginning. Unless you count the Big Bang, as I expressed earlier in this presentation. But again, that's up to you. Make your own mind up and then transcend the mind to become aware and to seek awareness. What life has taught me on this journey, starting with Chris Kwenka, then Bert Inglis, people like Rita Taylor, Ray Williams, really, really important people that, for me, are nothing like many of those I see today, in it just for the money. And they call themselves spiritual mediums. But as I've said to you, the spirit itself is a corruption of the true self. But most people wear spiritualism to decorate their ego and whatever, and to harvest energy, frequency and vibration physically, mentally, emotionally, monetarily off other people. I've never done that. You don't have to do it. I'm living proof that you don't have to do it. I passed a medium's house today, I know, and that medium doesn't work, but they're having work done on their house. Workmen are there, working on their house, making improvements by the looks of it. That medium charges £35 for a reading. That's how that's being paid for. In that, what I quoted earlier, the Lakota say, help me to find my greatest enemy, myself. And it goes on to say, so that at a red and purple sunset, the end of life, physical life, my spirit can come to you without shame. That's how I seek to live my life. That I can leave here taking full responsibility for dealing, working through and conquering my shadows, so that when I leave here, this incarnation, I can do so without shame. I haven't used my abilities, my awareness, my knowing, my knowledge to harvest the energy, frequency and vibration of another in order that I may live. I live very well. I have a roof over my head, I have clothes on my back, and I have food in my stomach. And it's always been that way. When I was married, been divorced 22 years this November. When I was married, when we brought up 2 children, we always had that. And I've said often, the universe will always provide your needs. Spirit will provide for your wants. And what you do for spirit, what I've seen so often, is what Bob Dylan said. Bob Dylan said, in order to be successful, and you can look this up, it's on the internet, him actually saying words, and I'm paraphrasing here, you have to sort of sell your soul to the big man, and the big man is the devil. I haven't ever sold my soul, and neither should you. The universe, as I look back on my life, has always provided for me my then wife, children, our needs. When my mother was bringing us up, 4 children as a single mother, our needs were always met. She didn't have a pot to piss in, but our needs were always met. And my mother was the epitome of unconditional love. And she remains that way, as does her twin sister, who she left behind, who offered my mother and her 4 children shelter to get away from a violent, abusive husband, father. The universe has always provided. We've always had what we needed. Throughout life, we haven't always had what we wanted. And my only want, as I can say it now, because I'm less confused than what I was 40 years ago, or 60 years ago. My only want is for mankind to wake up to the fact that they are not humans. I want humans to wake up to the fact that they are mankind. I want the conscious self to wake up to know that they are not spirit. And I want the spiritual self to wake up to know that they are consciousness, light, knowledge, and the way. And I want everybody to wake up and take full and utter responsibility for their own soul's journey and not reach outside their self for somebody to do it for them. Take help from another for guidance on that journey. But I want everybody to wake up to know that it is their responsibility to transcend this matrix, to transcend the mind, the ego, the spiritual self, to the true self. You might think you're a man. You might think you're a woman. No, you're just a human being. When you know you are man, when you know you are womb, man, then you're getting somewhere. Then, and only then. You got to fight the demons within you. You've got to see them, recognize them, the shadows that they are. You've got to fight them within you before you have any hope of fighting them outside of you. Don't seek to be better than anybody else. Seek to be better than what you have been. And together we'll make a difference. Together we'll make a change. Together we will restore the natural equilibrium, not only of the physical aspect of life, but the non-physical aspect of life, by casting out our own demons, recognising them, and then we can fight the demons outside of ourselves. And I'll tell you this, all of them are spiritual. They're not real. Only our belief in them are real. If this message resonates, then share the message. Don't share me, share the message. That's what's important. Try to remember who you are. And ultimately, all you are is energy, frequency and vibration. And you are light. And you are way, codes, knowledge. You are the Lucifer within. Don't fear that. Don't be blinded by your own light. Seek to understand it, embrace it, be it, and we can cast out all the shadows that we carry, and we can blind the shadows that are outside of us. Only light can dispel darkness. Be the light, be the way. As I do, you can do also, and far greater things. By that teaching is how I live my life. I'm not focused on living. I want to know what it is to live. And so should you. Share the message. Don't share me. Wherever you're listening, share the message. Look in the description box. Find my main BitChute channel. My email's there. And as I've said before, I haven't said it for a long time, if you want to talk to me, email me. If you're in the UK, I'll give you my phone number. If you're abroad, I'll give you my Sky Paddy. It's the only two ways I work. But I'm there for you. Anyone, if I can help you. And it won't cost you a penny, but you've got to pay attention. Stop paying these fucking charlatans that call themselves spiritual mediums and or truthers or this, that and the other. Stop paying them and simply pay attention. Because them people ain't no better than your corporate masters. They ain't. They're doing exactly the same as what your corporate masters are doing, but on a smaller scale. The message resonates. Share the message. Don't share me. Share the message. In Lakesh, in you I see another me. A man, a woman, and the light and the way. Mitachwe Oyasin, we are all related, we're all relatives. But I tell you every time, we are connected. We just got to realise that. See through the real lies. With real eyes.